That helped him. We want to look at the garden at Zorro Ranch and its creepy design right here. The garden at Zorro Ranch featured 3 concentric circles with crosshair-like intersections. So, what are some theories about this? Well, some say it's a symbolic design tied to occult or elite messaging. Others believe it could have psychological or ritualistic significance. It could just be that the guy was like, hey, here's a cool design as well. Would you like me to make it? But one of the reason for suspicion is that Epstein rarely did anything without purpose. Why such a strange, deliberate design in an otherwise private estate? And that does make a lot of sense. He had all those cameras hidden, and you had no idea where the cameras were. Obviously, sparing no expense on the design and the creation of this house. You could see where cameras could easily be hidden. They were all through the house, so everywhere he was going was being recorded, and probably recorded for a very, very long time, which would make sense on why the server room was so large and huge. If he was doing this since the 90s, imagine the hardware back then was a lot bulkier, larger, heavier, and required a lot more technology, a lot more room. Probably needed to be air conditioned, especially in New Mexico's summer heat. They really needed to keep moisture and heat away from the surveillance, the massive surveillance that Jeffrey Epstein had going on, the conversations that happened, the things that he caught. This was just a honeypot for him catching whoever he needed to catch. And he could fly in, nobody would know. He'd fly out, and he would have all the information, everything that happened there. Any room you thought was private, any area, any conversation you thought you were having that was private was not private. It was being recorded by him. So, what happened to Zorro's Ranch? Where is it now? Where's this ranch? And well, the ranch, you can see the ranch. Look, there, it's right on the hills. There's nobody in sight. There's nobody around. Deep ravines, and Jeffrey wasn't letting them go in and inspect the area, which even makes it even more creepy. We're just looking at the area. What is that? Is that your chests outside? It'd be hard for me to own this mansion knowing what has happened in this house. And this house was very possibly created for this purpose. Created for Jeffrey Epstein to prey on young girls, and also either find birds of a feather like him, or get people into incriminating situations that you didn't know she was in, being able to blackmail people. And who knows, I'm sure both of those scenarios could very well have possibly happened, as well as are there some situations that went wrong, and there's very possibly some bones out here for some people that didn't play nice with Jeffrey, didn't do the way. There we go. There's the airstrip right there where they come and fly in. How many people have been trafficked in? They could go hide the plane in this hangar, so it wouldn't even show up on satellite. One thing that was said about Jeffrey Epstein was he was very intentional. If you see the car from right there, you can see, looks like there's a truck, probably not much else going down there. That road might not even be traveled that often. Here's the horse stables. So what happened to Zorro Ranch, right? Well, I can tell you that after Epstein's death, somebody decided that it would be a great idea to sell it for $27.5 million. Well, the ranch sold in 2023 for an undisclosed price. Couldn't you just find out through tax records? But suspicion, who bought it and what's happening there now? The suspicion is, everybody wants to know, is who decided that this would be a great idea to buy Zorro Ranch, and what's happening there now. As the Epstein files have yet to be released by our government, why did Epstein pick an ultra remote ranch in New Mexico? Zorro Ranch, who flew in and out of his private airstrip. What happened inside his high surveillance compound, which I believe has been high surveillance since the 90s. And the reason why I believe that is true is because if that room was huge, I mean, they could have just remodeled it. I mean, these guys got money; they don't have to repurpose it. But if that room was huge, they had already run the wires everywhere. He might have been doing this a long time, and back then they needed big, bulky tapes to record hours and hours and hours of reels. And towards the end, he went digital, I'm sure. And I mean, again, to have that type of massive surveillance recording, audio, video, probably not that UFO grainy video, that I gotcha video, just high surveillance on his compound. Was the ranch used for blackmail? I think so. Genetic experiments, psychos, sick fantasy to be the Genghis Khan of pedophiles, or something worse, which it seems like something worse was not uncommon here. We really would like to see if there's some bones out there for somebody that didn't play well, didn't decide to follow what Jeffrey Epstein wanted to a T, or became a liability for him, and he wanted to cut off loose ends.